Welcome to the Kumquat Corner, a political show where we take titillating topics and discuss the left, the right, and in between of current affairs. I'm your host, John Kumquat. On tonight's show, home evictions, who's looking out for your interests? Why is the president beefing with our postal service? We also have some special guests, including our youngest to date, and a Michigan native that has U.S. education on edge. But first, some headlines. Welcome to the Kumquat Corner, and these are your headlines. California is seeing a record number in the state's history of the worst wildfires. Now, Trump has blamed Californians for the wildfires, saying, clean up your floors and clean up your forests. He then went on to blame McDonald's for his Beltline, Botrix for his hair, and Oxygen for making him a raging lunatic without reasoning skills. Speaking of idiots, the White House will be losing several of its own, including Kellyanne Conway, who's leaving to spend more time with her family. Upon hearing the news, the ravenous dogs and Karens that raised her went howling into the night to welcome her return home. We have a coronavirus update. Infections are rising in children, the CDC says. Now, it's going to be really weird when those kids go to science class and learn about all the science that says that they should not be in school. But at least the kids are getting to class on time with the new bill that is funded by the RNC. Upon the hour, Kimberly Guilfoyle will scream into the ether until the students are in their classrooms. An Oklahoma State sorority house has reported 23 positive coronavirus cases. Now, originally the girls thought that these were pregnancy tests. They were super relieved to find out they were just COVID-19. Followers of Cardi B left church confused this past Sunday after hearing about the encouragement for everyone to come into the Lord's house and experience WAP. Wow. That's Church for Worship and Prayer. When asked about the religious mix-up, the priest laughed. We're used to whores in his house because of Mary Magdalene. It's in the Bible. Just read the book that Trump pretends he reads. After much speculation and fake news, Kamala Harris is eligible to serve as U.S. Vice President after fact-checkers have confirmed it. They also confirmed that she is 100% that bitch. Swiss Miss takes on a new meaning as the Swedish town of Olten was covered in cocoa powder after a factory glitch ended in an explosion. But the real question, does anyone have any marshmallows? America's most beloved pizza topping, pepperoni, is experiencing a shortage in the U.S. Millions of Americans are relieved as they can now finally lose their quarantine weight. The Good Liars recently shared postcards around the D.C. area reading Postmaster Genitals, with Louis DeJoy's face on them with the tagline, a dick delivering fascism. When asked about it directly, DeJoy scoffed, stating his genitals are like Republicans. They haven't delivered anything since Eisenhower. Lastly, at 5:11 p.m. on Sunday, August 23rd, an unarmed man, Jacob Blake, was shot in the back 7 times by a Kenosha, Wisconsin police officer after trying to break up a fight between 2 women. There was no non-lethal force that was even attempted, although the officers outnumbered him 4-1. He was grabbed by the shirt, shot in the back 7 times, while his children were in the vehicle. To the authorities, I just have this to say. Send his ass to jail right now. We'll be right back after this break.
Namaste. The coronavirus pandemic has been an incredible stressor on every single one of us, and I'm here to say it's all right to take time for yourself. Please join me for a mindful moment.
Welcome back to the Kumquat Corner. We want to welcome our first guest here. Now, our first guest is the youngest guest that has appeared on the show. Please give a warm welcome for Kyle.
Well,
Kyle? Kyle?
hi.
How you doing there, buddy?
I'm okay.
Welcome back to the Kumquat Corner. How old are you, Kyle? We want to welcome our
I'm
first guest here.
7.
Now, our first guest is the youngest guest that has appeared on the show.
You had a
Please give a
very
warm welcome
important
for
thing
Kyle.
that happened to you recently. Can you tell the viewers what happened to you recently? What you
I voted.
You voted. You voted in the election.
Yeah,
And how were you able to do that? You were only 7 years old.
I voted with the mailbox.
With the mailbox.
Yeah.
How is that possible? Walk us through what happened.
Well, the other day, I walked to the mailbox and I saw the ballot, and then I opened it and I filled it out and I put it back in.
And it was that easy?
Yup,
And do you want to tell anyone who you voted for, or you want to keep that a secret?
both.
Both. Both. Okay. That's interesting. And
No,
I
I
guess
voted for both.
both. You just check both of the boxes.
Yeah. I
Okay.
voted for John Biden and Donald Trump.
John Biden.
Yeah.
Okay. And so how were you able to do this? Did it have your name on it, or what?
It had my dad's name, and my dad's name is Kyle Senior, and
Oh.
he passed away a couple weeks ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. How you holding up there?
He's dead. He died on a boat. It was a Mastercraft 3000.
Oh, and are you holding up okay? Are you doing okay without your dad?
Yeah.
You just carrying on his legacy for voting,
Yeah. I voted for what my dad wanted to vote for, which was
which is
both.
both.
Yeah,
You said both or both?
both.
Boats.
Oh, both.
Both. Oh, sorry, both. I thought you were.
Both.
Yeah, because your dad, the way your dad passed, and I thought that it was, kind of in remembrance of him. You thought that both meant both. Hey, forget what I said. So your dad wanted to vote for both. He was kind of confused, which a lot of people are in this day and age when it comes to the presidential election. It's become more of the lesser evils of the two. Do you know much about either of the two candidates, or did you just vote just to give one for your dad?
Can you see it?
Can I can I see what?
The thing.
The what thing?
The Megan and Cardi were talking about. The thing in the back of the throat.
Uh,
Do you know what I'm talking about? On what? Well,
yeah. I don't think that they. Yeah. No, I can't see it. No, I cannot see it.
you seen the video? I know it.
I will not say whether I have or have not seen the
You
video,
have.
or have not heard the lyrics. I don't know if you should be. I'm not sure. Is your mom around?
No.
Who's there with you?
She's on the boat.
She wait. She's on the both.
Yeah.
Did you mean boat?
Yes.
So did you mean to vote for the boat when you voted?
I don't know.
So I'm pretty sure you tried to vote for a boat and ended up voting for both. So
Yeah.
Okay, Kyle, thank you for joining us today. I'm glad you have to stop by to join us because that's a big topic that people have been discussing is the mail-in voting / absentee voting, and I got a feeling that people are going to be talking about this for a while, especially if the election ends up being close. But uh, I guess a lot of people probably would vote for a vote to not vote for either of these candidates. I'm not sure. But Kyle, I want to thank you for joining us. And I'm really sorry to hear about your dad. And I really hope that your mom comes back from the boat.
It's okay. My dad had life insurance, which means that I can get as many skins as I want in Fortnite now.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. That's taking an old silver line in there, Kyle. All right, Kyle, thanks for joining us. We'll be right back with more Kumquat Corner.
Oh, well, hello there, and thank you for joining me today. It is I, Aegon, creator of Telsa and Spend Buddy. That's right, I'm in space. I came on today to unveil Y-Space's new space exploration plan. Y-Space is going to Venus. Aegon will be collecting gases from Venus to create biochemical weapons and use them against any competing species we may encounter. Domination of Earth is just not simply enough anymore. There are just too many other planets out there that we could dominate and destroy. And humans want intergalactic domination. Space is the new frontier. And I want to be the Christopher Columbus of space. So join us in changing the universe, just like Christopher Columbus did. Because if it weren't for Columbus, you and I wouldn't be here today. Oh, I see an asteroid. I'm gonna go blow it up and mine it for gold. Thank you, and peace be with you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Kumquat Corner. Now it is time for our debates. Now we're going to throw out some topics at you. We're going to debate these topics, going to bring 3 pundits on to debate these topics, and they're going to give their side of how they feel about each topic. All right, our first guest we have on is Frank Gagliotti, who is a landlord. Welcome to the show, Frank.
That's right, John. Wish I could say it's a pleasure to be here. I'm a Fox News guy myself, so.
There we go. Then we have on Andrea Carmine, who is running a grassroots campaign for Congress.
Yes, John, thank you so much. I am so excited to be here.
Thanks for joining us. And then we have a show familiar, Bobby Dorian, who is a YouTuber and an influencer.
God bless America.
There we go. All right, so our first topic is the USPS, the United States Postal Service. Now, the United States Postal Service has come under some fire from certain people in politics based on them thinking that there's going to be some voter fraud that is going to kind of affect the election. So there's been all sorts of removing of postal machines and all sorts of mailboxes, everything like that. It's become quite political with a service that shouldn't be political at all. So let's get your thoughts on what's going on with the United States Postal Service. Andrea Carmine, we're going to go to you first. What are your thoughts?
Thank you, John. It is a travesty what is happening right now to the Postal Service. Like you said, this is not a political issue. It should not be. In fact, the mail service, the Postal Service, is a basic human right. And it's important that we protect that right. And the way that the Trump administration and Postmaster DeJoy is trying to undermine this critical service, critical, absolutely. It's absolutely infuriating. It's unacceptable. And I'm glad that we have brought Senate together to hold DeJoy to account, to at least stop the destructive acts. But we need to fix what has happened and put those machines back in place, protect this engine of our democracy, and make sure that people are getting their mail and can vote by mail. Those are the 2 most important things.
All right, thank you. Bobby, we're going to go to you.
Thank you so much, John. First and foremost, I think someone hasn't been watching the Matrix movies. We all know that robots took over the world, and why have that amongst our postal service? The reason they're getting rid of those machines is because by hand, we can hand select the ballots and figure out what Americans are really thinking and be able to track over the 500,000 ballots that were faulty or had fake names. I mean, really, John, do we want to put our trust into technology or to the American people?
I won't answer that question. Mr. Gagliotti, what are your thoughts?
Get rid of it entirely. Close them all down, every post office. Fire every last one of them. I don't need nothing from them that I can't get on Amazon. You see that piano behind me? Bought that for my beautiful daughter. Came Amazon. 2-day shipping. Get rid of them all.
What about letters, your mail, checks?
Amazon also uses the post office as well.
Talking about letters. You're writing a letter to your lost love overseas in a war? Stupid.
I mean, bills still come by mail. Some bills, they're the elderly that don't know how to use technology or computers, and they still get things by the mail, and they still use it.
You know what? If their children haven't tricked them into getting reverse mortgages by now, that's their fault. They should have all had their homes taken from them by now, and they shouldn't be part of the equation.
Andrea. No.
I'm baffled right now. I mean, first and foremost, Amazon relies on the United States Post Office to get their packages to the American consumer. So
no, they don't. They got robots.
They have both. They have the robots, they have the drone robots, and then they have also human post carriers. But one of the questions that we get asked a lot is, why isn't the post office profitable? Shouldn't we treat it like a business? And the only reason that the post office isn't profitable is because they're hamstrung by a congressional rule that makes them fund a pension 75 years in advance. Now, that's absolutely absurd. Absolutely absurd. And that is something that no other federal agency or organization is asked to do. So they have been dragged down, and now they're being blamed for that. It just doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all.
Hey, Bobby, you jump on in here. What are your thoughts?
Look, everyone's talking about Amazon. Everyone's talking about, again, using robots to bring us our mail. All right, first and foremost, let's go into the hypocrisy, okay, that is happening amongst the liberal agenda. All right, you are putting hundreds, thousands of ballots that are incorrect, or someone that has died, okay? Let's talk about that issue, because that's the important quality of, finding out who our next American president is going to be, and it will be Donald Trump.
Okay, I'm not sure if that had anything to do with that. Okay.
Well, that's exactly what Donald Trump wants. He doesn't want people to be able to vote, because when people don't vote, that is when he gets into office. The vast majority of people didn't vote in 2016. The absolute vast majority of the population didn't vote, and somehow, we got this president.
And yet we still found thousands upon thousands of illegal ballots. Okay. Also, do you want illegal immigrants to be voting as well? I guess.
So are you saying that there are illegal votes, or there are illegal immigrants? Let's keep things in
America. Okay. Let's keep them American and human. Okay.
Real Americans are being disenfranchised right now. They have their votes taken away from them right now. You're not even listening to me. You're not even listening to me right now, and it's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
That's what you said.
Infuriating.
I have abortion ballots. That's you. That's you right now. Oh my God, so un-American.
Frank, why don't you jump on in here?
I don't want these immigrants to be able to vote.
All right.
I don't want them to be gone from nowhere because they work for so goddamn cheap. I use them exclusively to do maintenance and repairs in my properties, and they work like they're scared of something. You know what I mean?
America is a country founded on immigration, sir. I don't know where you and your family and your grandfather and your ancestors came from, but it doesn't matter because it's America.
What did you shut up about my family? My mother? My beautiful mother.
I'm sorry, but wasn't Obama
legally working hard? Huh?
Wasn't
working hard.
Obama?
Immigrants get the job done. Hamilton.
Obama,
High five.
all about change. Obama, all about change. Couple hundred years go by. Why can't we change and make sure, that things stay in America now? I mean, that's a change.
What is more
That's a
American
change
than
of
the
thought.
post office? Ben Franklin invented it 1,000,000 years ago.
And he also
Okay,
invented
we're gonna-
eyeglasses, but now we have contacts. Change.
All right, we're going to close out this topic. We're going to go to our next topic, which is eviction crisis. We have an eviction crisis going on because we are in a pandemic right now. So a lot of people are out of work. So that means they can't pay their bills, which means they can't pay their rent for a lot of people. There are people that can't pay their rent, but there are a lot of people that cannot pay their rent right now. So we have an eviction crisis going on, and there's landlords. Mr. Gagliotti can probably attest to this, that they don't really care that you can't pay your rent. They have they own the buildings and they want their money. So we're going to start with you, Frank. What is your thoughts on this eviction crisis going on?
Oh, that's right, John. I don't care. I don't give a goddamn if you can't pay your rent. You're getting evicted. It's because number one, you made a lot of bad choices in your life and you refuse to work hard. Okay. And number two, B, you made a lot of bad shit. I said that already. I want them all gone. You understand me? And if you try pulling that shit on me, where you get a bunch of beautiful young women together who look great in black, and you try barricading the front of one of my apartment buildings, preventing me from coming and collecting my rent, I swear to God, I'll burn that place to the ground.
You must have insurance on your buildings if you're willing to bring your building to the ground.
I'm sorry, what's that? Cut out there.
You must have really good insurance if you're willing to burn one of your buildings to the ground.
Oh shit.
Yeah, didn't think about that one. Andrea, what are your thoughts on this?
We are facing one of the greatest crises that we have ever seen as a nation. This economic crisis caused by COVID-19 is worse than the Great Depression. And we are facing a rolling tide of evictions, of foreclosures, of homelessness, of houselessness. And housing is a basic human right. And it is important that we as Americans understand we have the ability to house every single one of us. The fact that we are the richest country and we are experiencing this risk and putting our citizens at such risk because of capitalism, that is the crime that's being committed here. Nobody, no family, no mother, no child should be forced to lose their house because they lost their job due to a global pandemic.
Yeah,
That's nonsense.
Bobby.
I have given my tenants several opportunities to exchange sexual favors, okay, for delayed evictions. And you know what they told me? They told me,
I'm guessing no.
Number one, no. Okay, no,
Good.
you are physically repulsive. You're a disgusting human being. I hate you. Two, we see that your wife and kids are here with you, and I'm certainly not going to. So they're obviously all gay, all of these women, and part of a homosexual Marxist cabal, and I want them out.
Okay, Bobby, your thoughts on the eviction crisis?
This is a troubling time for everyone, from the lowest of the low to the highest of the high, which is why my father has set up the Dorian Foundation, in which we have made sure that each and every one of our housekeepers, groundskeepers, anyone within our public domain of our multitude of houses are making sure that they can pay their rent. I mean, what would I do without Conchita? She is my number one person to go to for a massage every Wednesday. And if I didn't have that, where would I be, John? Where would I be? So sometimes it's good to help the less fortunate to move forward in life. And for those suffering through this housing crisis, well, Maybe in high school, you should have learned a lesson from economics. Save ahead of time. I mean, you can spend $1,000 on a TV, but you can't afford rent.
Amen.
Ridiculous.
Amen,
Did
Bobby.
you save, Bobby? How did you get your wealth?
My wealth?
Yes.
Well, it all started when I discovered my wonderful talent for speaking to the public and noticing that my stories were reaching the public and they were emphasizing with my own struggles in Darien, Connecticut. So I started a YouTube channel. I started my own marketing from it. And now I get thousands upon thousands of dollars for just one video. But that one video makes a difference in everybody's life. Hashtag blessed.
Yes. So you didn't have money before that.
Technically, my father is a financier, but I did everything on my own. I mean, I can't help that I was genetically born perfect and that the world just emphasizes and relates to me automatically because of my residence or my good looks, my fashion sense, and my ability to, get into cool parties and hang out in Long Beach.
Okay,
Sure,
we're going to get a
nothing-
final thought on this topic from each one of you. We're going to start with Frank. Your final thought on this topic.
We're still talking about evictions, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Here's the thought. You don't pay, you don't stay. Okay. And I inherited several properties. Okay. And a lot of people think and say that I don't know what it's like to work. I never worked a day in my life. And I just sit back and collect checks in the mail for my slum properties. Well, guess what? Before my dad died and I inherited those properties, I worked at a Blockbuster Video for 3 months. Okay. So don't tell me that I don't know what it's like to work hard. Okay.
All right. You flaunt that work ethic. Andrea, your final thought.
I have spent the last 2 years of my life campaigning in this district and talking with my potential future constituents. And this last 6 months has been so stressful on everybody that I've been speaking to, especially those who have lost their jobs and who are on the verge of losing their homes. And if I can't figure out how to make them feel better and promise them some sort of utopian communist lifestyle in which they'll be taken care of, there's no way that I'm going to win my election. So it is important that we focus on what we could do, not what we actually are going to do, but what we could do. And what we could do is house every single American. And that is the platform that I'm running on.
All right. And Bobby Dory, your final thought on this topic.
My fellow Americans, I hear you, I see you. And with my Patreon, if you subscribe now, 10% of each donation will be granted to the Dorian Foundation. Because you know what? The help starts at home first, or in my case, homes.
Okay. All right. So you guys stay right there. We'll be right back with 2 more topics for you, but we'll be right back with more Kumquat Corner.
For this mindful minute, I invite you to think about what brings you joy. For me, it's candles.
Amber, thimble of mint, sandalwood, an array of beautiful scents, mystical, mindful, fur from a goat plus pine, Gwyneth Paltrow's labia, perfect.
I invite you to buy my candles.
Welcome back. Now, our next guest has a very important job. She is the Secretary of Education. Please welcome Betsy DeVos.
Well, hi, John. Thank you so much for having me on the show, John. I'm honored to take some time out of my busy schedule to be on your show.
Well, thanks for being here. You do have a very busy schedule, especially right around now. So with the schools opening, tell us a little bit more about the initiative to open back schools during this pandemic.
John, I'm very excited for the schools to reopen in the fall. I think the 2020 school year is going to be one for the books.
Are you worried at all about this pandemic that we're in? Any sicknesses of COVID-19? Are you worried about that at all?
As far as I know, from what I can tell, the pandemic is over, and there's no reason we should be worried about kids going to school or having college football or anything like that, according to what I know.
Yeah, that couldn't be further from the truth. College football, for the most part, has been completely canceled. There are a couple conferences that are still going to have it, but for the most part, they have been canceled. And there actually has been a rise in children getting infected from COVID-19. So I'm not sure if
John,
you.
to be honest with you, I hear what you're saying, but at the same time, kids might get it, but it's probably due to their fault. And so schools have to reopen, and that's that. It has nothing really to do with them getting sick at the end of the day.
So it's their fault if they get COVID-19?
Well, John, I've said this many, many times. If you wash your hands and stay on your boat away from everybody else, I mean, then you're not going to get the virus.
Yeah. Not everyone has a boat. Maybe they could borrow one of yours. You have multiple boats, correct?
Well, John, yes. If you asked,
Yes.
I have 9.
9?
Mm-hmm.
And one escaped from you, correct?
Excuse me?
You lost one of your precious 9 boats, correct?
And I am out for blood. I am still personally looking for the individual that set my sequest free.
Yeah. Around how much? Just a ballpark figure. How much do you pay for each one of those boats?
I don't pay anything. I know that some people might pay upwards of 700, 900,000 per square foot. And that's just a ballpark. Again, I don't care about money except that I have a lot of it and that I keep it and that no one messes with it. So
that's been pretty clear. So about school choice, can you tell me a little bit more about school choice?
School choice is a wonderful opportunity that I've personally set up for every child in America to choose where they want to go to school. And doesn't that sound great?
On the outside, it does sound great, but I don't know if that's really what that is. Are you being facetious right now, or?
I don't know what that means, but I can tell you this: school choice now is a wonderful opportunity for kids to choose where they go to school if they choose to go to a private school, which is what I recommend for all kids to go to, because that's where the religion is and
the money.
And the money. Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about the kids that can't afford to go to a private school? No.
Well, I feel so sorry for those kids. Not really. I mean, what I can do, what part of the school choice now is offering, is that we will fund some of those kids to go to private schools, which is, I'm sure, what they all want anyway, because they're better schools with religion and money.
Yeah, but so you're going to fund all the kids that live in the
scholarships. That's what we call scholarships, and we send them to the better schools.
So you're saying right here on this show that if you live in an impoverished neighborhood, or you have a low income family, that these kids can get a scholarship to go to a private school.
Some of them, if we say that they can, and that's what's part of the school choice now. And and that's what's so great about what we're doing is if people prove to us that they want to go to a private school, which they do, then we may be able to fund them by taking money from public schools.
That seems wrong. So you're going to take from the public schools where everyone can go, and fund the private schools where you're going to be selective on who gets to go.
Well, John, yes, because we're taking money from the schools who aren't doing what they said they're going to do, which is open in the fall, which is what schools are supposed to do, is open. It's so important for children to go back to schools, John. And if they're not opening, then we're not going to give them money. That just makes perfect sense legally.
Yes. Okay. I guess that does make no sense. But I got a question to ask you. Would you be willing?
Make it easy. Make it one of the ones that I've been able to answer in other interviews without stuttering.
I'm trying to think of one that you answered without stuttering. I can't think of one.
Okay.
But yeah, could you fill me in on one?
You can ask me what were you going to ask me?
I was going to ask you if you would be willing to put up some of your money to help fund public schools, so the public schools that did want to open, so that they could open with are you
my money?
Yes.
Are you insinuating, John, that we should be taxing billionaires? Because I've heard it before, and I don't think that will work. I mean, if we did, it would solve most of our problems. But that's not fair to me, because I have 9 yachts and I would like to have more.
But wouldn't you you're the Secretary of Education, so your main job is providing for children to have an education like this.
That is my main priority. My main priority is to provide for kids a good education. And I teach them all if I had the time, but unfortunately, I don't have the time.
Okay.
To do that. And at the end of the day, kids, I love kids. I believe in some of them. I don't know any kids, but I believe that my job has to do with kids.
How did you get this job?
I don't know. I've watched some of the interviews. It's not good.
No, it's not. We can agree on that. So I want to thank you for joining us today. We learned nothing pretty much, but thank you for joining us today. It was okay to have you here.
Thank you so much, John.
Maybe we will have you back sometime when you leave this position and write a book or something.
Oh, I don't know how to write.
Yeah, okay. I knew that was coming. All right. Thank you, Betsy DeVos, for joining us. We'll be right back with more Kumquat Corner. Welcome back to the Kumquat Corner. It is time for another round of lively debates. We're going to welcome our 3 pundits back for another round of debates, where this topic we're going to debating, this first topic we're going to be debating is cancel culture. Now, the cancel culture has been a thing that's been happening in the past few years, where it's lively on social media. Basically, when someone has done something in their past and it's still alive on social media, someone can look it up and they can decide whether they are going to cancel you or not. When they cancel you, you're just done. They pretty much try to get you fired or dropped from your job, or basically you are scum of the earth once they are done with you. So we're going to debate this topic of cancel culture. We're going to start with Bobby Dorian, because Bobby, you are the right-wing darling of the internet. So I'm sure you've experienced some probably some forms of cancel culture. Go and speak on that.
You know, I've been so fortunate to just be adored by all of my fans. But then I look to friends like Tati, like Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson, James Charles, and I cry at night knowing that the beauty gurus of the world are just fighting with each other. And you know, sometimes things that we've done in our past, we can change. Our future is what we need to look forward to. And if we always rely on the past, I mean, there are heritages that have slavery in them, but we don't critique the person they are today. We don't say, hey, you're a slave owner. No, that was my family. That was back then, hundreds and hundreds of years ago. Even if it was 10 years ago and you did, I don't know, called someone a racist slur, that was years and years and years ago. Okay, we can move forward. Diction changes over time. Mentalities grow over time. I think that cancel culture is extremely, extremely toxic. And especially nowadays because of PC culture. I'm sorry, if I say the word dumb, that does not mean that I think you're stupid. I just think the situation is.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack there. Andrea, your thoughts on cancel culture?
What you call cancel culture, John, I call accountability. I think that we are having a reckoning in our culture at this moment, and that people are finally seeing the results of their actions. Now, we're talking about dredging up things from so long ago, but it's not always the case. These can be actions that have happened recently in the last 5 years, 10 years, 5 months. It doesn't really matter. What matters is, have you actually taken accountability for your actions? And sure, you can't go back and change the past, but you can apologize. It's so infuriating to see how terrible people are at apologizing. You know, they're always saying, oh, if I offended you, then I would be sorry in that case if it were to have happened the way that you say. Just say I'm sorry. Just say I did something wrong and I'm going to try to fix it in the future. That's all cancel culture is asking for. And yes, the careers and blood of men who have raped people, that is also something that cancel culture calls for. I don't also see why that's a bad thing.
Okay, well said. Frank, your thoughts on cancel culture?
John, let me tell you a little story. Okay. I'm a franchisee at a noodles and company. Got a couple of them actually. So once this, this COVID nonsense happened, everyone was so afraid. My managerial staff was dismissed because they refused to come into work. And one or two of them were begging me, please, please, please. Oh God, I need this job so bad. I gotta pay rent because I'm also their landlord. And I graciously offered to exchange sexual favors from them for keeping their job. Guess what? Next day, it's all over Twitter. My wife's calling me, blah, blah, blah. Did you do this? She don't know what she's talking about. So, I think they should close down all of these websites, Twitter, TikTok. The one, it's about a clock or something. I don't know. My son uses it. He does skateboarding, that kind of shit. And I don't think they should be able to do that. In fact, I think they should be prosecuted for trying to destroy the career of a hardworking, upstanding member of the community like myself. And I would like to also illustrate that I am, as of a week ago, a member of the political class, because I will be running for dog catcher for the eastern part of Livonia. So be sure to vote for Frank Gagliotti coming up.
Right. So if I'm understanding you correctly, the problem is that they went online to
Yeah, they
social
shouldn't be
media
allowed
to
to do that.
tell what you did. That's
Trying
the
to
problem.
ruin my life.
To drag down
They didn't
upstanding
want to work.
citizens
They were
who
scared of getting sick. What was I supposed to do? You know?
not solicit your tenants and employees for sexual favors.
Well, listen,
Just a
we
suggestion.
all, you know, I don't make
We
some
all
rules, so
do that.
That's an
yeah,
option.
everyone does that. Don't pretend that you don't, Andrea.
No,
All
I'm
do
100% certain that I have never solicited somebody that is under my financial strength and power for sexual favors in exchange for money / rent. That is not something that upstanding citizens do, and you should be canceled. And in fact, you are canceled.
Lies.
Oh, wow.
Lies.
Is this
Wow.
the first
Okay.
cancellation
And
we've
I
had on
wouldn't-
the podcast?
You know
Okay,
what?
yeah, this is
I
a
wouldn't be
full
surprised
cancellation.
if
I'm
you
done
were
with him.
a member of one of those homosexual Marxist cabals.
Yes,
And
because only
you should think
lesbians
twice
wouldn't
about
want
having
to
her on
be
your show.
solicited for sexual favors by you specifically as their landlord.
Right, it's flattering, right? Like it makes
Bobby,
you feel
jump on
good.
in here.
It'll make you feel good.
Thank you, John. Thank you, John. Thank you. First and foremost, Andrea or Frank, have either of you watched reality TV? I mean, I'm sure you have, or have even tweeted about it while doing it live. And your critiques, is that not also cancel culture? Being a bully? Being very rude to somebody? I mean, one of the judges on Canada's Drag Race was dragged for just critiquing the contestants on the show. And he deleted Twitter because he was given cancel culture. He was bullied to a point where he couldn't even go online without people telling him, you should die, because of a critique. It's getting to a point where cancel culture is literally canceling everything. Yeah, there's some big things that you should look into and make sure, you're not around that person. You don't have to tweet about them. You don't have to relate to them. You don't have to be near them. So just leave them be if you don't like them. I mean, unless they're going against you directly and like Frank trying to rape you, then just leave them be.
Don't you believe in solidarity, Bobby? Don't you believe in people standing up for each other and trying to protect one another from predators like Frank here?
Yes, I believe that we should, have a little back chat, but at the same time, you are putting that person's family at risk as well. I mean, if you put Frank on like a headline, what do you think his family is going to feel like? Okay. What do you think his daughters, his sons, his wife are going to feel? They are also going to get bullied. They are also going to be called, you are canceled because of what your dad did. Something that didn't even relate to them. But why should his family? Why should his family be
a father and a son
when
are related to
they
one another,
didn't
so it's
do
related,
anything?
Bobby.
But what if his son didn't know anything? Okay,
well, then
that's
he
like people
have a
coming after me
with
for my dad, for the Dorian Foundation. Okay, he did not take money from the foundation.
Sounds
okay,
like a feudal estate that you're just paying people and letting them live in your house so they can give you massages.
You just want to abolish everybody. Oh my God, you literally want to abort the world.
All right, we're gonna switch topics here and go to this topic. It's a new topic. It's one that's taken the country by storm. Rap lyrics, and specifically, we're gonna talk about WAP.
What the fuck did you just call me?
WAP, I think.
WAP, yeah. It's a song. Stands for.
Shit. Sorry, John. You talk about that wet ass pussy stuff. All right.
Yeah, that one.
All right, the dam has been broken.
There we go. All right.
To my followers, Christian Church, earmuffs.
Frank, you want to start? Are you familiar with the song, Frank?
Oh, I'm familiar with it, and of course, I find it disgusting. Okay, and every father, I'm sure, watching this crap is going to agree with me. All right. Why is it okay for women to talk about their wet ass P word? But I, if I want to say, wow, I like watching my daughter and her friends. And why did I say that? Why did I say that? Why did I say that? God damn it. God damn it. I bought my daughter that piano.
Yeah. Good segue. Bobby, jump on in here. Are you familiar with the song?
I am familiar with the song. Personally, I prefer to listen to folk music or, like lighthearted pop. It's just being that feminine kind of scares me. I mean, they're so big in all places. It's like, where do you put that? Right? Am I right? Like, just, go to church and you just have to think good thoughts about God. And to my American watchers and followers, just, it's okay if you take your Jeffree Star mirror and put it up to yourself late at night and wonder what it would feel like to have someone next to you. But at the same time, we have to be good Christians. Can I skip this? I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm so hot right now.
Amen, Bobby. Bobby is so right.
Thank you, Frank.
Andrea, do you want to jump in here? Are you familiar with the song?
I am, John. And sorry, Bobby, that was one of the saddest things I've ever seen in my entire life, because WAP is really all about the celebration of female sexuality and sexual empowerment. And the fact that it's ruffling so many feathers, particularly by people like Frank here, who see women as objects or sexual objects or items to be traded for goods or services or sexual favors. I absolutely adore how this song has gotten under their skin. And it's crazy because it's such an old debate, right? It's 2020. Why are we still talking about offensive rap lyrics? Rap and music in general is meant to push the envelope, to be about self-expression, to cause conversation. And I'm here for it, John. I love it. I'm all about it.
Oh, I want to read one of the lyrics for the viewers, if I can. I don't want to spit. I don't want to gulp. I want to gag. I want to choke. I want you to touch that little dangly thing that swing in the back of my throat. Wow.
Lady knows what she wants.
Yeah, you have to say, whether you hate them or you love them, they provide a pretty vivid picture of what they want. And
the flow of it all. Artistry.
It does have a good beat.
It does have a beat, and there are some whores in this house.
Say like maybe Andrea can answer this question. I mean, it's a very liberal question, so maybe she could answer it. But like, can you do that? Can it go that far in the back?
No, it can't. That's a myth.
I think it depends on your partner.
No.
I think it depends on the level of comfort and communication that you have with your partner, and of course some anatomical connections that are going to come in there. I don't think that always needs to be the goal to hit your uvula with a penis of your partner, but if that is something that she is looking for, and I think maybe it's a fantasy conversation that she's having with this theoretical partner as well, and perhaps that will make him feel like he is so big that he would then make her gag and hit the back of her throat and her uvula. So that's pretty exciting. It's kind of this fantasy role play almost.
And if I pray afterward, it doesn't count, right?
Nope.
It doesn't.
Who's counting? Who's counting? Is there a God?
Yes.
I don't think we know that.
Yes, there is a God.
I don't know that we know.
All right.
There's a God.
Bobby, as long as you pray and you wash yourself afterwards, do your ablutions, everything's going to be fine.
Washing, yes. Not sure what ablutions are, but it sounds horrifying.
Well,
Okay,
what, Andrea, if you were a tenant in one of my complexes, I would evict you so fast.
God help me.
Any prior notice, and there would be nothing you could do about it.
I would have
The
you
laws are in my
under
favor.
subpoena from the ACLU so quickly, your head would spin, Frank. And if I were to figure, if you were in my district, and it sounds like you might be on the outskirts of my very gerrymandered district, we might have some conversations later on about how you treat your tenants.
And you know what, Andrea?
My son's friend
Sorry.
Ricky tore his ACLU playing football, and
Is that a joke?
I nursed him back to health. He's a beautiful, beautiful boy.
Well, I was going to say, Andrea, if you need any help, if you are under Frank's roof, so to say, you can expect to be part of the Dorian Foundation for the earlier help.
Okay.
I'm trying to make connections across the aisle.
Want to thank our pundits for joining us today. For this topic, it's got a little hot in here, but want to thank you for joining us, and stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Namaste. I'm Mary Bell Anderson, and I am here to share with you a mindful moment.
Thank you for joining us for the Kumquat Corner. I have been your host, John Kumquat. Want to thank our guests, Kyle, Betsy DeVos, and our panel, Bobby Dorian, Andrea Carmine, and Frank Gagliotti. Join us next time for more of the Kumquat Corner. And if you want to see more of the Kumquat Corner, you can find us wherever you find your video content. And if you want to hear our past podcasts, you can find them on where you find your podcast on Spotify or on the Planet Ant Podcast. Join us next week, where I'll still be teaching myself to play guitar.
Everybody's coming to the Everybody's coming to the